Welcome back. Prescription drug abuse is growing in Lagos, and lawmakers in the State House of Assembly want government to increase its awareness programs to curb this trend. In this Sunday special, our correspondent Abimbola Agbebi takes a look at drug abuse amongst youth in the state.
Drug addiction has become a social and mental health issue which a number of homes and authorities are looking for ways to deal with. Despite harmful consequences, a number of young people are getting hooked on it with each tick of the clock. In Lagos, there are some areas well known for drug abuse. This narrow street in Ikpodo Market, a densely populated area of Ikeja, comes to mind.
The issue of drug abuse has been on the rise. In this part of town, a large number of youths who live here are unemployed. Some of them get into a life of crime for various reasons. Some because they're habitual, others because they keep a bad company.
In this neighborhood, I met 33-year-old Nicholas, a drug addict who tries to justify his lifestyle. Drugs, to him, is what playing is to a child.
I don't find smoke as an even offense to the public. You understand? Because what I see, that's to my own advice. To me, it's like a child play. You use, and just like use if you want to smoke, if you want to just cheer for yourself, you can get anything for you to just see that your eyes. As you see me, I'm for myself, and I do for myself, and I know what is good and what is bad. Nobody is bad past.
Lined with shops on both sides of the popular Ilo Street, Ikpodo is considered tops among the hideouts in the state for thriving illicit trade in narcotics.
If you see them, you put camera to them. This is them now. See them. You see this one? It's drug. We can't fight it. If you come, maybe 9, 10 in the night, they sleep in front of the houses. Now this one sleep outside. This young girl, you see, they sleep outside. So what do we say? This thing is not today. Right from the time I can write from Bangida when cocaine just came out. These are the young girls that helped them to keep it. I'm saying what I saw. It helped them to keep it in their body. So it is still existing.
There are so many. I can see them sometimes when they call me to come and buy market because I told you my business. I can see them, they are taking it. And many people, you can even see big people come and stand with very dusty people, very dirty people. Sitting together with them, starting taking all this gunner, all this cocaine, all this tramadol. That thing can change your thinking.
Perhaps a more interesting case is that of Emmanuel, whom I accidentally met on Ikpodo Street. He was a drug addict for 12 years.
I did cocaine, I did heroin, I did marijuana, and nobody does go into such thing that will not go into crime too. I joined a cult group in my school until one day I met a man that introduced me to Jesus.
He opens up on the drug addict's lifestyle and the role some government agencies played in encouraging illicit drug trade at the time.
Drug addiction is more spiritual than the physical. Many people fight it physical, but I think it's more spiritual than the physical. So the demon behind it is just so powerful that you still want to take it. Just 5 minutes high. When you are high, you are back to your nearest self. You still want to take it again. The governments are not really trying. Yeah, because when I was doing drug, most of the people that come to sell drug to us in the joints are people that work in the NDLA too. So they are not really trying. Though we have other people that are doing, but there are some that are still there that they arrest after getting the drugs, they will now sell it out again to the dealers. Like the place I smoke at Munshi, Akala, is a drug community. We stay there most time the nights. You see all this pickup van, police, the army. They are selling marijuana, they are cutting marijuana, prostitution is going on. But they'll just come, they'll give them money and they'll walk out of the place. So I don't think the government's really helping. Because we still have some of the policemen that are still doing all those stuff too.
37-year-old Emmanuel may be a changed man now, but he still lives with regrets.
I lost a lot of things. I lost my education, my siblings, they are all graduates, but I went into the University of Calabar and I got into cultism, same because of this drug. And I lost a lot of things. But paramount is my education, which I'm still fighting to get it back again.
A mental health survey done by the Lagos State government in 2016 showed about 3% of the population in the state had abused cannabis, and another 7 to 8% had significant issues with alcohol. Another survey done 6 years ago by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency showed 11% prevalence of significant drug abuse in northern Nigeria. A more worrying trend in drug abuse is the growing involvement of students in the illegal use of prescription drugs. Tramadol is one of those medications responsible for many deaths.
Boys in school use it because there's a hostel very close to my hostel in school, so they use it very well. And it's not nice when the way they behave. I have guy friends, so they tell me how they react. They say it's good for having sex, it makes them more active, it makes them calm, and so many other things.
Recently, 40 containers of illegally imported tramadol tablets with a market of 7.3 billion naira were intercepted at the Apapa port. Earlier in the year, the attention of lawmakers in the National Assembly was drawn to a memorandum forwarded by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. It showed tramadol and codeine are the most abused pharmaceutical substances in Nigeria. Lawmakers in Lagos were quick to react to that.
I moved the motion, but it's an offshoot of a lot of ideas, a lot of talking. More worrisome is the fact that youth take them in schools. I am so shocked that primary schools and secondary schools, especially our public schools, are infiltrated with people who abuse drugs. And they're very young students. I'm glad because a lot of members contributed to this motion. They lent their voices, and we could feel the impulse, because the truth is we will not have a nation in the next 5 to 10 years if we continue this way. Everybody is going to be dependent on drugs.
Psychologists point to poor parenting, unemployment, peer group pressure, and marital crisis as some of the factors responsible for the increase in substance abuse.
First of all, be very responsive to social trends as they develop in our society. And as with all drugs of abuse, if a drug is available, people will take it. So you need to work at both reducing the availability, the ready availability of drugs that can potentially be abused, and also work at reducing the demand, that is, making people see that even if you see this thing, do not use it for X and Y purposes.
In their resolutions, the lawmakers suggest the way out. Music and movie stars are being targeted as channels to raise awareness about the dangers of prescription drug abuse among Nigerian youths. Abimbola Agbibi, TVC News, Lagos.